For over 2 centuries, the United States has been involved in wars across the globe. Some were fought in the name of freedom, others, not so much. But behind every bomb dropped and every soldier deployed, there's a deeper question. Why? What were we really fighting for? And who paid the price? Today, we take a journey through America's wars, from 19th century expansion to 21st century intervention, and look at the costs, the causes, and the consequences. Part 1: 19th Century Expansion by Force 0030. The Mexican-American War 1846 to 1848. Why it happened. The U.S. wanted to expand westward. Texas had just joined the Union, and America set its eyes on California and the Southwest. What happened? The U.S. invaded Mexico. Mexico lost over half its territory. The cost: tens of thousands killed. The seeds of resentment and border tension still linger today. The Indian Wars, why it happened. The U.S. wanted land. Native American tribes were forcibly removed or destroyed to make way for settlers. The cost: entire cultures wiped out. Forced relocations like the Trail of Tears led to thousands of deaths and long-lasting trauma. Part 2: Becoming a Global Empire 1898 to 1918. 0200. The Spanish-American War 1898. Why it happened? Officially, to liberate Cuba. Unofficially, to seize Spain's colonies. What happened? The U.S. took control of Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. The cost: over 200,000 Filipinos died in a brutal war against U.S. occupation. Interventions in Latin America. Why it happened? Protect American business interests and build the Panama Canal. What happened? U.S. Marines landed in countries like Nicaragua, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. The cost: political instability and anti-American sentiment that lasts to this day. Part 3: World Wars and the Cold War 0330. World War I, 1917 to 1918. Why it happened? To support allies and defend democracy. What happened? America entered late, helped tip the balance. The cost: 100,000 Americans died, millions more worldwide. World War II, 1941 to 1945. Why it happened? After Pearl Harbor, the U.S. declared war on Japan and joined the fight against Nazi Germany. What happened? The U.S. became a global superpower. The cost? Over 400,000 Americans died. Hiroshima and Nagasaki were destroyed by atomic bombs, killing over 200,000 civilians. Korean War, 1950 to 1953. Why it happened? To stop communism from spreading. What happened? A brutal war with no clear winner. The border remains frozen in time. The cost: over 3 million killed, including thousands of U.S. troops. Vietnam War, 1955 to 1975. Why it happened? The U.S. feared the domino effect of communism. What happened? Decades of fighting, bombing, and unrest. The cost: 58,000 Americans killed, millions of Vietnamese dead, and deep scars on both nations. Part 4: The War on Terror and Oil Politics 0600. Afghanistan, 2001 to 2021. Why it happened? In response to 9/11, to dismantle al-Qaeda and remove the Taliban. What happened? A 20-year war, America's longest. The cost: over 170,000 deaths, trillions spent, and the Taliban back in power. Iraq, 2003 to 2011. Why it happened? The U.S. claimed Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. He didn't. What happened? Regime change, chaos, the rise of ISIS. The cost: hundreds of thousands of civilians killed and another Middle Eastern country destabilized. Syria, Libya, Yemen. Why it happened? Interventions for regime change or counterterrorism. What happened? Ongoing civil wars and humanitarian disasters. The cost: millions displaced, thousands dead, and no clear end in sight. Final thoughts. Who really wins? 8 a.m. In almost every war, regular people, both American and foreign, suffer the most. Politicians argue about strategy. Corporations profit from weapons and oil, but it's the soldiers, the civilians, and the families who pay the real price. America's legacy of war is not just about victory or defeat, it's about accountability, and whether we've learned anything from the blood that's been spilled. Call to action 0840. If this video gave you a clearer picture of history that's often left out of textbooks, hit like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Because understanding the past isn't about blame, it's about making better choices in the future.